Hello everybody, let me know if you can hear me okay, as I am live from in my car in the parking lot. It looks like I'm about to go on some sort of rant about chemtrails or something. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you can hear me, so we can get going here. It's going to be a little different than a normal show. Just got out of the first training camp practice that I've been to today. Let me double check. Yes, you can hear. Okay, great. Hello everybody. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. I'll grab them. That's usually how this stuff goes. But real quick recap of practice. I mean, this is, the second padded practice and stuff. So a lot of the stuff you already know if you've been really plugged in. Was it hot? Yeah, it was okay. It's been hotter. The humidity feels like it sort of blew out, and there was a nice breeze. We got in the shade pretty soon into it, so it wasn't too bad. Tell me about all the injury news. Oh yeah, let's start with that. So Alexander Mattison, I saw that one happen. He took a quick check down, and he just, as he was like letting up, he grabbed right at the back of his thigh, that hamstring. Looked 1,000,000% like a hamstring pull. That tends to not be like that. I mean, that's nothing like season ending or anything like that, but it tends to be those weird lingering injuries. So I would say questionable for week 1 is what I would expect out of that. But I'm no doctor, and for me with injuries, it's sort of guesswork. I did not see Booth at all. I saw like 10 minutes later that he had been taken in with a trainer. Oh, no one specified what part of the leg? Yeah, I saw him grab his hammy. The rest of the beat might not have seen it because where they stand is like it was on the far field from where they stand, so they might not have been able to see it, but from the stands we could. He grabbed at his hamstring. That's all I can say there. I'm sure we'll get as much update as the team is willing to give us. And then Booth, I didn't see anything. I saw Tristan Jackson go down as well. He was like laying out, and I think he landed funny. It was groinish. He was grabbing his leg. I think that's the injury stuff. I think somebody said, is Cam truly outplaying Scene? Look, Scene's with the twos. I think we are in a situation in the safety room. I think they might all be good. Yeah, Blackman's been the nickel with the ones. He has firmly supplanted Jalen Williams. He was with the ones all day when they were in regular nickel, and then when they were in big nickel, it was Metellus. And then Scene, he would rotate in some, but in the same way like other second teamers would rotate in, that's like normal. But Scene looks like he gets it. He was playing well in man coverage. He's still getting coached up. They're still working with him, but not in, like with some guys you could kind of tell, all right, this dude's just butt and it's over. With Scene, there is a concerted effort to get him comfortable doing what they want him to do. They're sending him on blitzes and stuff, and yeah, he's working with the second team, but like he would come in to give Harrison Smith reps too, and then he would play with the ones there. So like that's, I don't know, I'm like not concerned about Scene. I think we just have 4 good safeties, and that's not a problem. One of these guys gets hurt, Scene goes in, and that's going to be how it goes. Let me see what else you guys asked. Is our CB room cooked? How'd the O-line look? I did not get a great look at the O-line. I'm going to have to get back to that another time. Is the CB room cooked? No, Byron Murphy looks pretty good. Tay Gowan, holy crap. Tay Gowan was killing dudes. And sometimes he was going up against guys like, I think he was the only guy that had a good rep against Brandon Powell all day, who, by the way, oh my God, Brandon Powell was cooking. Like, I think it's just because 19 looks like 18. I mixed him up with Jefferson a couple times. And also Tay Gowan did really, really well on special teams, which is huge. He might slot into that Najee Thompson space that I've been having in my roster predictions of there's got to be like a corner that's good at special teams. That might just be Joejuan Williams too. But I don't know. Tay Gowan did some rosterable stuff today. I'll leave it at that. What about Jaron Hall? He looked fine. I think Nick Mullins is a little bit better than him. But both of those guys are pretty close right now. I've only seen one day. I haven't really seen one guy play better than the other, and Mullins is with the twos, so I guess that's there. How'd Kirk look today? Kirk looked weird, man. He was wearing number 66. I guess it was a joke with Ryan Wright, someone said. I don't know. Can we shut Jefferson down until week 1? Yeah, tell me about it. Can Ivan Pace legitimately contribute? As a rotational guy and a special teamer, And he's on the twos with Troy Dye. I don't think he'll get in a whole lot, unless someone gets hurt or whatever. But the fact that he's firmly with the twos on the outset of camp is a really, really great sign for him. Yeah, Tristan Jackson got hurt. Andrew Booth got hurt. We'll have to wait for more information. Is Blackman actually worthy of being with the ones, or is that just everyone else sucks? I don't think it's everyone else sucks. I think he's played okay. Yeah, he's like fine. He's not beating Justin Jefferson a lot, but nobody is. He's not losing reps to, Garrett Mogg or whatever. How much sunscreen did you wear? I've worn plenty. Somebody asked about Andre Carter. He's on PUP, so we shouldn't expect to see him. I didn't see Marcus Davenport. Anybody got a word on Marcus Davenport? I didn't see him all day. Jay Ward. I noticed Jay Ward doing pretty well. 44 was fine, rotating with the ones. They did a lot of having him play high safety with Bynum being the one in the box. But that will move around a little bit, I'm sure. Sezzy, I saw him get one good play, but I didn't see too much from him. He's been with the twos. He was actually standing up. It's interesting. Tyler Fornes was sitting with me. I think he's going to write a whole thing about it. But he was actually standing up at like a 3-tech, sort of 4-tech position, which is an interesting place for him. What else do you guys have? Yeah, Flores was intrigued with pace. Let's see here. Jay Ward. Any insight on how they're going to use Oliver? Yeah, everything I've been saying on Locked On Vikings was like absolutely correct. So, I can't miss. He looked pretty good as a route runner too. They had him do the routes in like indos and warm-ups and stuff. He looked pretty good there. So that was nice, but also the way that they're going to use him is going to be as like basically a lead blocker, sort of a subversion on fullback runs. Is Jordan Addison in person better than on tape? Jordan Addison, so he had a couple of really like rough reps, and then the rest of the reps were awesome. So it's like the base level was an awesome rep, and he's just got to get the stinkers out. But that's a fairly good spot to be. That's a spot you can put that guy on the field. So he's got all the time in the world to kind of really get the consistency down and move on to the next level. I thought Addison had some really good reps against Blackman. Again, he had Joe Williams in absolute hell, and he's really, really, really quick. I would say, honestly, I didn't see Naylor because he's still out. I would honestly say Jefferson, Addison, Osborne, Brandon Powell, and then the rest of the guys. That was my grouping today, obviously with Naylor out in space right now. What's the mix of man to zone for the coverage? I didn't do a lot of diagnosing that. I'm going to have to look at that another day. Is the basic understanding that Flores... Oh my God, the Flores blitzes. The offense in teams was struggling. This is going to be the story. I think this is going to be the title of my Locked On Vikings podcast, is defense dominates offense. Because the defense dominated the offense. And a lot of it was blitzes confusing them. Somebody said they thought Harrison Smith had like 3 sacks. I saw a sack for Pace. I saw a sack for Pace when he was rotating in with the ones, by the way. They had Dye rotating in with the ones too, so I wouldn't read too much into that for depth chart reasons. But hey, Pace got a rep with the ones and got a sack. Are Cine and Bynum even in competition? Are they playing different roles and positions? Yeah, they're in totally different spots. Cine is playing what Metellus is playing with the ones. Cine is playing with the twos, and then he's gotten in with the ones a little bit and played some like weird rotational stuff. So yeah, McBride looked good. Didn't see much from him. He did go in with the ones when Madison got hurt, but he had a couple of shifty runs. I really like the way he looks personally. I don't know if the team agrees or not. And then it was otherwise Ty Chandler. There was no Kene Nwangwu, so it was a big day for McBride actually, of opportunities. Anyways, yeah, sorry Kevin. Back to your thing about the blitzes. Really, really, really crazy stuff. There was one where Lewis Cine like simmed a pressure, like he crept up to the line like he was going to blitz off the edge. It forced the protection to slide over, and then they got a sack from the other side. I saw Dean Lowry force one fumble. That was the only time I noticed him. Really hard for me to see O-line and D-line, so I'm not going to have the best takes on that just from my vantage point. But I'm going to try to do better about that later. What else do we have? Seen a big old bust? No, yeah, far from it. I don't think you should be worried about Lewis Cine. I guess that's the way I'll say it. He looks like he's getting it a little bit more, still just a scotch hesitant. I thought he looked really nice and physical in man coverage. I will say, though, he stinks at special teams. Lewisine shouldn't be on special teams. So he's got to make his hay from scrimmage. And if he does go the way that, like, say, Jalen Reagor went, who, by the way, bad day for Reagor. He slipped once on a one-on-one, but mostly just by virtue of Brandon Powell having an insane day. It just is never going to be good for the guy who's in direct competition with him. So if you know, we're 4 years from now and Scene's in that spot, then he's going to have to get better at special teams. But for now, I'm not there. Asamoah got destroyed by Ezra. His physicality. I mean, Asamoah is a small linebacker. It's always been a thing for him. And Ezra does that to linebackers. So, yeah, that's nothing outside of expectation. Kevin says, hot take, Reagor doesn't make the team. I don't even think that's that hot. I would say right now, he's not on the team. If I had to do it right now. Yeah, fullback usage, so I saw that they were doing it. I really wanted to take a video, but I don't want to be that mean to the Vikings. But they were doing it basically like the, they were doing a lot of the like sift motion stuff, if you know what that means, where, you know, the fullback will sort of take 2 shuffle steps and then be in an offset eye, or maybe go over to the eye, or motion around and, you know, line up in line or something like that. Jaren Hall had a fine day. So they did a lot of that with Ham and Ogile, and they actually had McBride and Chandler doing that stuff too and being as lead blockers. So you might do some of the stuff that like the Dolphins have been seeing, where they come out with, you know, Chandler and Alexander Madison on the field and have one lead block for the other. Yeah, call Denver and see if they would want Reagor. You know, if I were going to trade a guy to Denver, I don't think it'd be Reagor. I think I'd trade them somebody else. I don't know, maybe it would be Reagor. If push comes to shove and Brandon Powell's not going to be able to make the team, I'd do that. Or I'd start giving him, you know, Thayer Thomas, he runs a good man. He gets in and out of a cut quick, but he's just so gosh darn slow. I did not see any kicks. Any surprise reps on the O-line? No. They had, Oli Udoh took all the snaps at right tackle, and then otherwise it was chalk. But yeah, the fullback stuff I thought was pretty cool. Lots of different ways to get to force, which is when they have a fullback lead blocking to the outside. I think force is going to be outside zone with a lead with a fullback blocking the C gap basically, or D gap if there's a tight end if you're strong, which that becomes Zorro. That's going to be your kind of staple run. Biggest surprise of the day, I will once again reiterate, Tay Gowan, man. He popped off the tape in the special teams drills. They did like a punt gunner drill, and then they did a kickoff coverage drill. The kickoff coverage drill was basically, it was like basically an Oklahoma drill, but with a pole in that you're supposed to. Yeah, I saw Tay Gowan quote tweeted I mean, hey, he deserves the lap. He had a day. But he had the blocking assignment basically, where he was supposed to prevent the tackler from getting there, and I forget who it was against, but it was an obliteration. The dude didn't get within 20 yards. Like, he didn't get 5 yards off of his spot. It was amazing. And then he had some really good one-on-one reps as well. Bradbury get stronger yet? Yeah, well, Bradbury is who he is. We know that. Somebody asked, like, one offensive and defensive winner. Probably Tay Gowan and Brandon Powell. I've been saying that a lot on this stream, but, you know, reiterate a lot. Brandon Powell and Tay Gowan were the standouts. Brandon Powell just runs a really sick route, man. I don't know. It just looked awesome. He sunk really well into it. He exploded really hard out of it in a way that we just don't see from Reagor. Where does Powell fit in non-ST? Kind of taking that Reagor spot, that 5th wide receiver, and you're competing with Naylor to be 4th. I would say keep 2 of those guys is the dynamic right now. And one of them's going to be your punt returner too. Who is Bradbury's depth right now? I think Josh Sokol is the center on the 2s. Or no, Schlottman. What am I talking? Schlottman is the center on the 2s, and then Josh Sokol with the 3s. 4? What? I don't think we have a number 4. Hall starting QB. Yeah, a lot of people said Jaren Hall. He did all right. He had, man, that go ball is pretty. Is just as pretty as it was at BYU. I did not see Davenport anywhere. I didn't see anybody tweeting about him being hurt or absent or whatever, so I think I'm just an idiot. But I literally could not find him, and he wasn't in with the ones. The edge rushers were Wanham and Patrick Jones. And by the way, Patrick Jones had a great one. Oh, wide receiver 4. Forgot about Naylor. Yeah, Naylor's probably wide receiver 4, and then Powell is wide receiver 5. That's going to be my guess. So it's going to be a depth thing. That's And we can go for 5 more minutes here if you guys have other questions as my finger comes in. How does Hicks look better? I thought Hicks had a couple really nice plays. I think he's a good run fitter. And I think that that's a skill that's really hard to get, like to see. So he was not going to get as much hype over it. But it's important, you know, that's the dirty work. So I think he's going to be doing that. Ekstrom reported Davenport not partaking in team drills. Okay, so something unexplained, some limited something. All right, I'm sure we'll find it out. Does Asamoah deserve to start? Oh, for sure. Asamoah, man, he had a couple of plays where when he's got the play diagnosed and he hits the right gap, he just screams in there. I think Asamoah is going to be a very boomer bust player, like play to play, where you'll just have this insane TFL and then maybe he'll overrun something and give up more yards. And in the run game, that can be good because, you know, when you're when you're on the defense, you fail to run. That's an 8-yard run. Crap, and that was his fault. But a good play can be, you know, a negative play. Will Hall be on the 53? That's tough. Yeah, probably. I don't think you can safely stash him. So I think he'll probably be on the 53, and then it's if Mullins beats him, he's the backup and he's on 53, but you wouldn't keep Mullins to be QB3. That's probably what it'll be. Harrison back to all-pro form. Harrison's not getting a lot of reps. They're giving him plenty of rest. Should the Vikings sign Dalton Reisner? Yeah, sure. I don't think he's going to push any starters, though. You can listen to today's Locked On Vikings for my thoughts on that. Don't get your hopes up for him, like, pushing all the starters and doing all this crazy stuff. Yeah, Asamoah's surprised as a Sooners fan because he wasn't really a fit. Yeah, I don't know. They're figuring it out. He's playing pretty. I'm trying to think through like other reps. Is Hunter looking rejuvenated? So Jefferson is basically unguardable. Yes, I couldn't see Hunter in. I mean, he wasn't going to be in teams. And I could not see the O-line, D-line one-on-ones, or any of the stuff the D-line was doing was like way on the far side of the field, so I couldn't see it. Should we have gotten Stetson before LA Rams? I will never say that. I didn't have a draftable grade on Stetson Bennett. Maybe I'm wrong there, but you know, then I can't really be like they should have done it if I couldn't figure it out either, right? TJ Moore involved with the full off season. I actually didn't see him a lot, but Tyler did, so I think I'm just dumb. On that note, I think that's going to be a sign-off. So go listen to Locked On Vikings today. There will be a Locked On Vikings tomorrow. I was also on the Minnesota football party today. I believe that's already up, so go check that out as well. And I'll be on that on Thursday as well. So I'll also be doing these live streams at the end of practice, every practice that I'm at, which will be the 3rd. I'll come and do one after the night practice, and then the 5th, the 7th, and the 8th. I think those are the ones that I'm going to do. So I will see you all for that. I did not see Podlesny kick, sorry. I'll see you all for that. Thanks for hanging out, and as always, Skull.